3 1 seeds. I can't break it down, but just the fact that, your wife has sex is a drop that is going to be at least a 3 seed in Drop Madness. Coming from Griff?
Yep.
Here's the thing I didn't know about Griff. He's a dirty little boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We thought he was this innocent that went out there that didn't have interest in such things. Oh, he has an interest.
Griff's got some skeletons in the closet, boy. Let me tell you. Other things, too, probably.
That is unbelievable.
He's like, first, I didn't know where he was going. That's why. He's like, with a model. He was like, no, with a comedian.
He was going model. I'm like, all right, who's my wife going to be with?
Right.
Kate Upton?
It could have been the other way, too.
And you have to live a happily ever after life.
That was
happily ever laughter.
It was the call of the year.
It might be. On December 20th, you get the call of the year.
Oh, my.
What is this? So, is this the 354th day of the year? It took 354 days to get the call of the year.
Your wife
so I think
has sex.
I think the comedian you were looking for was Gilbert Godfrey. That's what I think you were thinking of. Not that he looks like Sloth, but that's,
No, I was thinking about who was the guy. I don't think he's with us any longer. Was it Stephen Wright, the one who was just very monotone?
Oh, he's still with us.
I'll
be killing him.
No, I don't think he is. Stand by.
I think he's still very much with us. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
You can throw out the Shecky Green. Andrew Dice Clay now.
No, he's still with us. He's still with us.
Yeah, of course. Don't be killing people off on this show. That's what I do.
I apologize.
1-800-919. Jason.
Look at that. We combined games inadvertently, right?
Jason Aldean's Highway Desperado Tour is coming to Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater on Friday, July 12th, and PNC Bank Arts Center on Saturday, July 13th. ESPN New York has your chance to score tickets at ESPNNewYork.com or on the ESPN New York app. Scroll down to contest and submit your entry. Brought to you by Live Nation. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. You don't know what's coming.
Oh my God, that's such a great it's such a great call. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's all happening on the
they should play that at the Christmas table.
Yeah,
for
really.
Crying out loud.
They should play it back. Email that to them, Dan, so they can.
Yeah, Anthony, send it. That's going to be one of the drops, like our jet drops
on the holiest of days. On the Michael K. Show, and yes, on 98.7 ESPN New York.
You look like a...
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. So you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover. New York isn't for the faint of heart. The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landing Carryall, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am. Purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
We just shipped our millionth monthly coffee subscription box. We're sending custom thank you gifts to everyone on our team who helped us get there. I had to call Eric at Custom Ink. Custom Ink has been with us from the beginning, and he makes sure that we get everything we need and even reminds us of our own company milestones. This milestone, though, I get to tell him about. He is every bit as excited as we are and knows great quality products we can customize and send for the gifts. Celebrate all your milestones with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Trick plays, and if ever local hero, national champ, now he's home and expected to save the franchise. Continue to go forward with hope as the plan.
What's up, guys? I wish this was in person so I could buy each and one of you a beer or something.
Last play of the game.
Hey guys, am I dreaming or can we actually win this thing?
You've heard our story before. In some ways, it's yours. It's the one about rolled up sleeves, measuring twice, cutting once, and building something you're proud to put your name behind. What are we building? A different kind of workwear, inspired by the values of those who put in the work. They're the reason we make boots that feel as good at 6 p.m. as they did at 6 a.m. They're the best you've ever worked in, or we'll take them back. Brunt, the tools you wear. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
For saving us money. Mara, your parents are
exactly like me. I know, right?
Well, cherish your friends and loved ones.
Let's roll, Daddy-O.
Let's boogie-woogie.
If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer, choose the right law firm by asking, what are your highest verdicts? What experience do you have? How many lawyers are on staff? How many clients have you represented? Speak to Whites and Luxembourg at 800-LAW-6789 to get unmatched answers. It's the biggest financial decision of your life. Call 800-LAW-6789 or visit mesowin.com.
Nobody shows up quite like New Yorkers. We're tough, loud, loyal. And this year, we're stepping up like never before. For the first time, all of New York sports teams and the leagues are joining with New York Cares and the Partnership for New York City for one cause. Collecting winter coats for New Yorkers in need. So show your love and help make this coat drive the greatest our city has ever seen. Go to welovenyc.nyc.
This year, let Ford make the holidays bright. Go over any type of terrain with Ford Bronco Sport.
Hey, Dad.
How's the weather?
All good.
And the Ford Explorer with available seating for 7. And with power on demand in the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning, well, that's how Ford is making the holidays bright. Right now, returning lessees can get a Ford F-150 for just $299 a month for 24 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
Tip off this basketball season with Prize Picks, the easiest way to play daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on player stats like points, assists, rebounds, and more. You can win up to 25 times your cash. Go for the win across the country and flex on them with Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Visit prizepicks.com/TV for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy.
It's right around the corner. Monday will be Christmas.
Like
I got a lot
Are you
done
pretty much
today.
everything in order?
I got a lot done today.
Good.
Now, full disclosure, we were both going to be in studio, but Dan had some issues, so we're working from home. So don't everybody freak out. But we do have access when things happen. So that buys me a couple of hours not having to drive into the city, and I was able to get quite a bit done. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm not going to tell you where I went, but I was genuinely surprised how few people there were there. And this was
I'm
like
telling
like 11:30 in the morning, so it wasn't like, people are still working. So I did go, I think, at an optimum time, but not many people there. And this is a pretty big electronics store.
Friendly word of advice to people who are procrastinating or whatever, just haven't had the time. If you are trying to get some things done between now and Monday or whatever, if you're going to a mall, a store, on a weekday, the 2 best time periods to go, based on experience, to avoid the biggest crowds, right when they open up until about noon, and then try again 5 o'clock on, deserted.
Okay, you people are having dinner and just getting home from work. Because I don't think people want to stop at the store on the way home from work.
Last week we went to a mall. We got there at about 4:30-ish. The place was a ghost town. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I think a lot of people are shopping online. It's more convenient. I'm sorry. Now, you do take the chance that you don't get exactly what you're looking for, but let's face it, it's not like it was years ago. I mean, you can pretty much get what you're looking for down to a fine-tooth comb. So if you're not, closed, it may not fit, but, electronics, certain gifts that you're going to get.
You order from the consumer's catalog?
Remember that?
No, I remember that.
That was a big deal. There's a lot of people listening that don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, like back in the day, before there was this thing called online and the World Wide Internet, that was one of the catalogs that would show up at your house in the mail. Like Consumers, the department store, and you go through and they had clothes and toys and electronics, and you say, I want this, and that's what you'd have to order.
It's a little bit different now,
but
kind of same premise.
A little bit, but there's nothing that comes in the mail as far as a catalog. You just go online and get what you want.
That's it. Let's go to James, Staten Island. You're on ESPN New York. How are you, Jimmy?
Hi, I'm good. So I've been listening to the show since this morning, and I'm going to be honest. I really think it's more fun being a Mets fan than it is a Yankee fan. All right? Yeah, the Mets may not have the World Series championship, so what? But we've got players who play their heart out. Look at Pete Alonso, who really I think we should be extending right now. And look at David Wright. Before he got hurt, he was on his way maybe to the Hall of Fame. I don't know. But the Mets have had good years. 2015, we didn't know they were going to make the World Series. But look, they made the World Series in 15, but didn't win. It was a fun year. Just like not last season, the season before last year, the 101-win season, it was a fun season. The Mets are just a more fun team.
Yeah, but James, not for nothing, and look, I'm a Met fan, Don's a Met fan, but the thing is, what team can't you say that about? Where if you go to the World Series, you win 100 games, of course you're going to have more fun than not, right?
Yeah, but I think what James is saying is that there are ways to enjoy being a Met fan without winning a championship, where because the Yankees have championship or bust, they give themselves almost no room to enjoy the ride. But listen, I think that that's still the minority of people. They're the ones that call here, but they're upset about they're missing a great season and Aaron Judge is having to complain about Gallo striking out. When it's World Series or bust, when it's championship or bust, it does take some fun out of anything but. Where did a Met fan enjoy 2 years ago when they lost to the Padres in the playoff? They didn't enjoy losing to the Padres, but they could look back and go, we won 101 games, and it was fun. Where a Yankee fan looks at that and goes, all right, so what? We're supposed to do that. We didn't win. We lost in the wild card round, and we're embarrassed. So I kind of hear where he's coming from. But
by the way, happy birthday to David Wright today. Speak of the devil, he mentioned his name. 41 years young.
Yeah, that's it's a shame. David Wright is a forever Met. Spent his entire career with the Mets. One of the greatest Mets of all time. But it's like with great sadness that I reflect on his career by the way that it ended. And it wasn't his fault. Not winning a championship. Really just how damaged that back was towards the end, where he was robbed of so many great games and so many moments.
And
it's
also,
really
remember, the move to Citi Field hurt him initially, too. Before even the back problems and the spinal stenosis flared up. He just, for instance, it took him a while to really get acclimated to that ballpark because it was cavernous.
Yeah, it was. And they at least made the adjustments. But you're right. When they first moved there, he was hitting, 390-foot bombs to the warning track. And because that was right when all of a sudden it was all about, exit velo and launch angle and hitting home runs. And I never really thought of David Wright as that type of player. Line drive gap hitter, but everybody falls in love and gets intoxicated by the home run. And, in typical Met fashion, they build a ballpark that was not conducive to that. It was good for pitchers.
He got hit in the head. Remember, he got hit in the head by Matt Cain.
I was there
that first year.
I took Nancy. It was Giants, and I was there, and it was he was never really the same player after that.
Only had 10 home runs that first year at Citi Field in 2009. And he had 33 the year before at Shea Stadium.
And I remember he had a grand slam of the World Baseball Classic. I was there for that. He had his moments, man. Great player.
Well, then he had the 2 in the World Series, which was nice in 2015. Remember when he came back and hit those? Were we at that game?
Yeah,
I think we were at that one, right?
Yeah, and I remember going, after talking to him, and as bad as things ended up in that series, that always talked to the media, stand-up guy. It's really a shame the way that ended. Let's see. Let's go to Steve in Middle Village. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Steve?
Well, I'm surprised you took the call. I'm very appreciative. Happy holidays, guys.
How are you, man?
Hey,
Same
Steve.
to you.
Couple of things. I was going to mention the Nets and the Knicks because that's the way you started the show. I'm an old Knicks fan from years and years ago, and then I got away from it. And when the Nets came in to Brooklyn, I'm a native Brooklynite. I lived there. I've lived there most of my life. I'm 70 now. And you know what? I'm going to be a Nets fan. And I didn't follow through. And I agree with you. The rivalry between the Nets and the Knicks, not really. The big rivalries were the Mets and the Yankees, I think, with me growing up, even though they didn't play against each other except for the Mayor's Trophy game, in 1969, because the Mets were finally good. And the Yankees were at the end. I mean, Mickey Mantle had retired and all that stuff. The Mets fans in Brooklyn, and I was a Yankee fan, they let me have it. They called Tom Trash, and all that stuff. It was really something. The big rivalries, one other thing about the Mets, became very popular. That's why Sonny Werblin named the Titans the Jets, and then the Nets name came from the Mets. The Mets were the cool team in the 60s. And this is an old Yankee fan saying this. They were the cool team. They were the young people's team. And then when they won in 1969, of course, Namath and with the Jets and everything like that, the Mets have a great baseball history. And they had, kind of quirky, didn't win as much. You compare it to the Yankees, the Yankees, had Babe Ruth and all that stuff. But got to give the Mets their due because they helped name 2 other franchises in the New York area.
Well, that's why the Met fan base is as strong as it is, and thank you for the phone call. My dad was a Brooklyn Dodger fan, became a Met fan. There were other people that were Giant fans that became Met fans because you had 2 franchises that decided to follow one team. And there was something, Dan, too. The Yankees were very corporate, still are. Even though they play in the Bronx, they're very much like a Wall Street kind of, like the pinstripes. It's all business. And the Mets were fun with Casey Stengel, with the placards. And, they lost, but they were lovable losers, and they were fun, and they had personality. And then when they won in 69, it was a miracle. And he's right. That was Mickey Mantle's last year, and that was some tough times for the Yankees. And then it all got better for the Yankees by the time they got to the mid to late 70s. But, that's something the Nets and the Devils and the Islanders just weren't. Even with the Islanders winning 4 straight Stanley Cups, they were just to be able to take 2 fan bases and mold them into one. And that's why I think it's over now, Dan, but you probably heard this growing up, that New York was a National League town.
Right.
I think that's now over because that was generations ago, because you had 2 National League teams compared to 1. And,
of course.
But now I think the Yankees have won so much, and it's 2 generations removed from them, leaving, that I think it's clearly an American League town. It's a Yankee town now. But we did see not that long ago where it was a Mets town.
If you're old enough to remember, it was, certainly.
Yeah.
And you don't got to go back to, the 60s or the 50s. No, I mean, like the 80s when the Mets were on top of the baseball world there for pretty much. I mean, it was a National League town. It was a Met town. But
even that's a long time ago because there's now a new generation of fans that don't remember that. It can't even picture that could ever happen again. Always a pleasure to talk to Richard in Manhattan. How are you, sir?
Fellas, the greatest sports event ever. In any sport, any
anywhere. Don't give me the 1980 Olympics. Nothing. Ali beating. Listen, the greatest sporting thing I've ever seen was the 69 Mets. That will never be duplicated. That was so unbelievable. The city changed the mayoral election. It went a while. That was great. But that team was not the most beloved team. Now, the New York Giants in the early 60s were beloved. And I was very young, 6, 7 years old, but they didn't get the job done. The most beloved team I've ever seen in New York was the 69-70 Knicks. They never got booed. There was nothing ever said. Every night was like a cocktail hour at a wedding. It was that great. And they played a different way. Don't forget, all NBA champions before that were hulking centers like Bill Russell and Chamberlain. All right, you had Bob Pettit won it one year for St. Louis, and then you had George Mikan. This was the first team that played with an awareness of passing the ball. All right, as far as talking, and I include the Cosmos up there. They were very beloved, but that's something else. The greatest Christmas gift I ever got, Don, you'll love this, and you'll tell Rick DiPietro this. 1966, the Bobby Hull hockey game, the board game with the rods came out.
Oh yeah,
and they had the little sticks. And fellas, this was the forerunner to all the foosball games and all of that. It was $5. My mother bought it for me. I was the only kid in the neighborhood in Astoria. I got it Christmas time, 66. They came over to my house. $5 was a lot of money back then. And it had a magnetic board where it vibrated. The puck had a little ball-bearing ball in the middle of the black puck. Anyway, that was the greatest Christmas gift I ever got. The greatest television show I've ever seen, and I don't entertainment news, the greatest television show, 1966. I think it was late August, September. This week in the NFL, Ed Sabol and John Facenda, when that show came out Sunday morning, highlighting the AFL and NFL, AFL and NFL games of the week. That was with the marching music, the military marching music. Forget about it. Every kid my age, that's all we did. We had our glue. Now, I don't know if you guys are announcers, so you'll be appreciative of this. Up until the middle 70s, did you know the Rangers' home games were only on Wednesdays and Sunday nights, and the Knicks played at the Garden only on Tuesdays and Saturday nights? With some exceptions, but up until the mid-70s, that was the schedule. Did you guys know that?
I did. Well, doing the Rangers the way that I did, that was the way that it always...
Up until the early 70s, mid-70s, am I right?
Yes, absolutely. There was that little 6 or 7 year span where that just seemed to always be the way that it was. Richards, thank you for the phone call. It used to be like that at the old Boston Garden, too, where the Bruins would play in the afternoon, Celtics would play at night, when it seemed like every building, baseball and football, too, had multiple sports in it. Rich, you'd like to be able to respond every once in a while. He's like rapping. There was like 6 or 7 different subjects, and you don't even get to chime in.
He was all over the place. Well, let's see. For the greatest sporting event into the greatest Christmas gift he ever got into the greatest television show that there ever was. I mean, it's like categories.
There's Richagories. Whatever it is, it's crazy. 1-800-919-3776. We've got lots to do. If you want to join the baseball, where's Yamamoto going to go? Knicks and the Nets also a topic of conversation. Rodgers activated but's not going to play. How's that going to all play itself out? And you know what? You got 3 hockey teams that aren't bad. 2 of them are home and sold the game out, and the Rangers were in Toronto, and they keep finding ways to win against elite teams. So all on the table to talk about here on the Michael Kay Show with Don LaGreca and Dan Gross on Yes and 98.7 ESPN New York.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
Folks, the league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other night.
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Reporters on pace to break the all of the young guns.
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
There are a lot of us now, and it means so much when we can all be together, especially when we can do something good, like our yearly service project. We're also running a t-shirt fundraiser through Custom Ink to help raise more money and awareness for the cause. Our t-shirt fundraiser with Custom Ink makes it easy to share our campaign and help our community, and their design services team helped us get a design we love. I'm proud that we can make a difference together as a community. Come together for a cause. Get started today at customink.com.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover, New York isn't for the faint of heart. The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landon Carry-All, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am, purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
Jeff has a problem. It started when he ordered his Brunt work boots. He's beating them up 14 hours a day, going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. At my place, with his buddies, at night. I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof." I don't know if we're gonna make it through the 30-day risk-free trial.
Of course they will, babe. They're super durable.
I'm not talking about the boots, Jeff.
Brunt, the tools you wear. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Battery maintenance. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry in. Don't let these deals get away. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or $2,500 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. Now, during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
10 years ago, we started Untuckit out of my apartment, and today we have more than 80 stores worldwide. It's been quite a journey. We didn't just create shirts designed to be worn untucked, we perfected them. With great fabrics and design at the perfect untucked length, so you can look sharp in this new business comfortable world. Just look for our signature sale. Untuck It, 10 years in the making, and we're nowhere close to stopping. Find the perfect holiday gift at untuckit.com today.
We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
The promise of America is freedom, equality. But right now, those pillars of our democracy are fragile. Reproductive rights, voting rights, the right to make your own choices and have your voice heard. We must act now to restore and protect these freedoms for us and for the future. We are the American Civil Liberties Union, and we are fighting in every state, every day to defend your rights and the rights of all people.
We have got to be here. We've got to be strong to protect those rights.
For over 100 years, the ACLU has fought for everyone to have a voice and equal justice, and we will never stop. Because we, the people, means all of us. To learn more about defending our democracy, go to myaclu.org today.
Don and Dan here on the K Show. Take you up until 6:30. Then it's Grass's solo till 7. So I guess you could say it's a Dan show, right? Did you see this? Baseball's top 10 power hitters. This is
like just some person's opinion, or is it actual metrics
this
and data?
This is BR Walkoff. It's a Twitter handle. It's got almost 250,000 followers. The next
Bleacher
era
Report,
of baseball
walk-off,
is
yeah.
here. Bleacher Report.
Do you genuinely acknowledge a lot of things from them or no?
I mean, it's a list. List. It doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's not.
No,
a
but
bot.
I mean, like let's say if they report a trade, for example, like, do you genuinely acknowledge that? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, but it's interesting.
But
the power hitter thing takes precedence.
I don't know. It's just a list. I mean, the credibility is in the eye of the beholder, right? I don't need them to break news. But if they have a list, I mean, I have a list. What's my credibility? Well, no, honestly, if I came up with my top 5, it stirs debate. We have fun. That doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and, break news about a Met trade. Take it from where it is.
The reason I bring it up is because I sent you a tweet, a report from that same account involving a reported trade by the Mets, who we've been talking about for an hour, and yet you've just completely unacknowledged that, but you're telling me about their stupid list of the top 10 power hitters.
Well, because I'm not like embedded in my phone. I'm sorry. Did somebody say look at your phone? I didn't see it.
Was it next to you or not?
I didn't see.
Well, I told Anthony.
Well, Anthony, did you tell me to look at my phone?
I said it to you and Anthony.
I saw it. And I didn't tell you about it.
All right, well, that's not my fault.
So I apologize, and that's on me.
All right, I'm looking at it right now.
Right,
Mets have acquired Adrian Hauser and Tyrone Taylor from the Brewers for pitching prospect Coleman Crow per multiple reports. Okay.
And the Brewers made it official. So it's a couple things on this. Number one, Coleman Crow was one of the pitchers that the Mets got back in the Eduardo Escobar trade from the Angels last year.
Okay.
And he was the guy who, like, LOL Mets, like, remember when the trade was reported? Like, this is a guy who's going to need Tommy John surgery. So he underwent Tommy John surgery, so he's going to miss all of next year. But Hauser's a guy who is a back end of the rotation piece. He's a guy who's going to make 20 starts a year because we know that the Mets are going to need some arms here with this rotation. And Tyrone Taylor is a guy who's, maybe like a fifth outfielder, can go get it, has a little bit of pop. Yeah. But what's interesting is this is David Stern's guys that he's familiar with from Milwaukee.
And that's what you got to like about it, right? Is because he knows these guys because they came from Milwaukee. So, yeah, no, it wasn't a lack of credibility. It was just a lack of knowledge. I'm not a big phone guy when I'm on the air. I can't multitask,
Yes, you can.
I can't look at my phone and talk to Richard in Manhattan at the same time.
Well, he does all the talking. There's nothing to do.
That's how limited I am. Anyway, so did you see this then? Because it looks like you're all over.
No. Tell me. So I don't know about the power hitters.
So you got a top 10. Number 10, DJ Martinez. Or J.D. Martinez. Sorry, I got a little dyslexic there. J.D. Martinez. When I said it, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a play. Oh, okay, that's right. I said it wrong. J.D. Martinez.
DJ Martinez. I'm just making up names.
You have a problem with that? Kyle Schwarber, number 9.
Well, he's only 9?
That's right. Oh, because I guess he takes because he's a leadoff hitter. I guess they had him low. Juan Soto, 8.
See, I don't like if you're asking me, I would consider Schwarber more of a power hitter than Juan Soto.
Jordan Alvarez, number 7.
I think I know where Don's going with this, by the way.
He should be higher than 7, but anyway.
Marcelo Zuna, 6. Corey Seager, 5. Shohei Ohtani, 4. So give me your top 3 then. I gave you 4 through 10. So
don't tell me Stanton's going to be one of the
Stanton
3.
is not on the list.
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso, not on the list. Ridiculous. This is a Tonka truck list.
Like a closet
or
something?
This is a Tonka truck list.
Oh my God! Probably Aaron Judge, right?
Yeah, Aaron Judge is 1.
So 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Because it's what have you done for me lately? 5 minutes ago, don't tell me they have Adolis Garcia on there.
Oh no.
Oh, shocked.
I'll give you a hint. They're both on the same team.
So not Bryce Harper.
No.
Oh, Vlad Jr.?
No.
Who is it?
Acuna Jr.
And Austin Riley?
Matt Olson.
Oh, come on, get that. What is this? Why did you even tell me this list? Like, now I'm a worse
Matt Olson's
human
2, by the
being
way.
for knowing this list.
No Alonso, huh?
No Pete Alonso, no. Alonso
what
gets nothing.
Type of a crack show is this report?
Listen, I don't know. I'm just giving it to you.
Well, you know
so
what?
there's
apologize.
credibility with the trade, but not credibility with the list. Okay.
Well, no, because the Brewers made the trade official in the aftermath. But in that 45-minute window when I sent you the report and it went unacknowledged, it could have been twisting in the wind.
Well, I'm not going to take the hit for this, Anthony.
I already took blame.
I got text message everywhere. I mean, I'm just looking at my text messages now. You know, Ray Santiago sent me a text message. Apparently, he's
so
listening.
You can see Ray Santiago's report. He's just like giving little
Great
quips
Beyond.
here and there.
He's just in Jersey.
No, because he's got to be sleeping. I mean, the guy. It's amazing what he's doing.
We got the Knicks game in 2 hours.
Well,
what are you talking about?
He says,
So basically what you're saying
God
is-
bless Richard in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's.
I don't look at my.
I would love to see you be
glance
around
at
for
it here and
Colonial
there, but,
Times.
I apologize to the listeners, not to Dan. Dan was wrong.
I was wrong.
Well, I'm just saying, you got to give me a heads up. I sent you a text. Don't just assume my nose is in the phone. I'm not like some hosts.
Let's rewind to. Well, I see what you did there, and you're accurate, by the way. Rewind back to colonial times. So, like, if you were in the company of Paul Revere and he came and gave you the heads up that the British are coming, what, would you have ignored him?
No, but then that would be the same as you announcing the trade on the air. I mean, I could hear, but if he
his was even more of a demonstrative heads up.
But if he nailed the note to the door and I didn't happen to go out that day, there's a possibility I wouldn't read the note.
I don't think he would have nailed
like
the
if it was
note
a
to the
Martin
door
Luther
because it was-
situation, I might not have looked at it.
It was like code level 10 or whatever. The British are coming. Let everybody know. He was like screaming at the top of his
If
lungs.
you shouted out during the show, the Mets made a trade with the Brewers and the Brewers made it official, then the analogy with Paul Revere would work. All right? This is more of a Martin Luther situation. You nailed something to my door. I didn't happen to look out the door, so how am I going to know?
I like the Martin Luther drop,
Because
by the way.
that's
Because
you
I
want to go back in time. That was the way they text back in the day. They'd nail
Let
a
me
note
tell
to
you
your
something.
door.
I challenge you, anybody listening out there or watching, to go find another sports radio station in this world that's bringing up Paul Revere and Martin Luther. Forget about the same show in the same segment.
Forget about the same
5 days
segment.
before Christmas. I dare you.
Just a back and forth in a 30-second back and forth conversation.
The intelligence level is just, I don't think people could grasp
Well,
what
listen,
they're getting today.
we've given you this in the 3 and the 4 o'clock hour. Can you imagine how this is all going to sound in the 5 o'clock hour? Coming up next, Don and Dan on the K Show. Take up till 6:30 right here on 98.7 ESPN New York. And yes,
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
There's an easier way. With Thumbtack. Download the app today and care for your home from top to bottom.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping, always. Sign up today and get free chicken wings for a year. ButcherBox.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover. New York isn't for the faint of heart. The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landon Carryall, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am, purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
Folks, the league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other night.
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Scorers on pace to break the
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
Giving is in the air. Gift up to $1 million with holiday scratch-off games from the New York Lottery.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
If anyone knows the joy of rescuing animals, it's me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about the happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
.503 in the big city. Don and Dan taking up until 6:30. Then Dan till 7. Then our coverage begins for the Knicks and Nets, which is a pretty significant game, Dan, when you look at it. The Knicks sit as the 5 seed in the Eastern Conference with a record of 15-11. They went out west, went 2-2, which is, I guess, all you can ask for when you're going out west, and especially after they lost to Utah to start the trip, to be able to bounce back, take 2 out of 3, beat the Lakers and the Suns in the process. And now find themselves a game and a half behind number 4 Orlando, which is starting to come back down to earth now. The Magic have lost a couple of games in a row. And then you've got the Nets, who are the 9 seed right now. They went out west, lost 3 in a row. They're 500. So when you talk about like needing a game here, just 26 games in, it's certainly bigger for the Nets. They're home, but it's also big for the Knicks, who can come off a 5-game road trip, 3-2, and they'll take that every day.
Yeah, it's odd, too, that both of them are coming off of West Coast trips, right? And this is their first time right back at it, closer to home here. And it's a big game for both. Like we said earlier, the Knicks' schedule is brutal the rest of the month of December. So this represents, at least on paper, their best chance for a victory. And they'd like to get it. And if you're the Nets, you want to stop the bleeding, too, because you had a rough time out there. And I think that if you look at it realistically, you know that both of these teams are playing for different things this year, right? The Knicks have expectations where you were in the second round last year, and you hope now you could take it a step further and maybe find your way to a conference finals this season. Nets, on the other hand, are still trying to essentially make sense of everything after the dust settled. We're trading off the superstars last year. Now you're kind of building it up with young players and trying to form something special. I think the Nets would be more than happy if they can make the playoffs this year and avoid the play-in tournament. Like, finishing in the top 6 to me is a goal for the Nets, and I would say job well done. For the Knicks, you have your sights set a little bit higher.
Yeah, they certainly do. This Knicks preview is brought to you by Pajamagram. You were talking about the difficulty of the schedule after Brooklyn. They're going to play on, I guess that would be Saturday, the 23rd.
Garden doubleheader that night,
right?
Or that day and night.
Because I'll be on the call. I get back to doing some games. I got the Oiler game on Friday and the Sabre game on Saturday. Looking forward to that. Back-to-back games against the Bucks at home.
Yeah.
One on Saturday and then Monday, Christmas Day. That's tough. Bucks have won 5 in a row. We know how good they are, and that's the flaw of the in-season tournament is extra games against the Bucks for the Knicks and an extra game against the Celtics too. The way that it worked out. And then I don't know what goes on in the NBA and the NHL where you get like these rogue trips to the middle of the country, like the Nets out of nowhere or the Rangers out of nowhere played like one game in Minnesota. One game in Dallas. And then the Knicks had like one game in Minnesota. The Knicks have a one-game trip when they come out of the Christmas holiday in Oklahoma City. So they're home on the 25th. Then the 27th, they're in Oklahoma City. Then go to Orlando and then go to Indiana. So it's a weird trip, right? Where you're going out to Oklahoma City, then down to Orlando, and then instead of playing Miami, you're going back across the country, halfway across the country to play Indiana. Well,
what's interesting about Indiana, too, is that they've kind of leveled off a little bit since they made that run to the championship of the in-season tournament. I think they had won maybe like 5 or 6 in a row or something, but now they've lost 4 in a row. So maybe they're starting to come back to the pack a little bit because that's a team that we didn't really think a heck of a lot of going into the season. But this is big. And, look, we even said this earlier in the year, just the early portion of the schedule for the Knicks, the first couple of months. Like, these 2 Milwaukee games, Friday and yeah, right. Well, Saturday and then Monday on Christmas. That's already 4 games against Milwaukee before the end of the calendar year.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, that's unheard of. And they're 0 for the season so far against Milwaukee. They're 0 for the season against Boston so far. But I just got done talking about the goal is to take that next step. Well, who do you think you're going to have to leapfrog along the way if you want to take that next step? Teams like that. Yeah. So these are big gauge games for this team.
Yeah, and that's the Knicks preview brought to you by Pajama. Graham, soft, silky, a best-selling Christmas gift for her. Get a free $75 nightie with naturally nude pajamas from Pajamagram. Now, on the other side of the garden, the Rangers, they win last night over the Maple Leafs, and I thought Dave had a great line in the pregame last night when I was doing it, setting up the game, about how the Rangers are quick learners. Like, they're outstanding after losses. What are they, like 8-1 after a loss, or 7-1 after a loss? And they lost to Toronto the week before 7-3, and then they turn around and win 5-2. I mean, that's the mark of a really good team. No extended losing streaks. Make a mistake, immediately correct it. And that's where the Rangers are right now as they sit atop the Metropolitan Division. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've got 45 points, which is the best in the Eastern Conference. They've got 2 wins already against Boston. They've split against Toronto. So they're playing great against the good teams. And the Islanders, give them some love. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10 after it looked like they were going to be firing Lane Lambert. They were chanting his name to be fired. They weren't scoring goals, blowing leads in the third period, which they still continue to do. But they're playing better. They're in third place in the Metro. They're sitting just 7 points back of the Rangers for first place after it looked like they were going to be almost guaranteed to miss the playoffs. And then you got the Devils, who are 6-3-1 in their last 10. They lost in overtime last night. But, they're sold out of UBS for Oilers and Islanders, and the Oilers lost their third in a row. Islanders beat them. Sold out over at the Rock. If the Rangers played at home against Toronto, that game would be sold out. So there's a buzz around the hockey teams. Devils off to a slower start than the others, but pretty entertaining stuff going on in the NHL.
Was it last week when somebody called? Was it Friday when you and I were doing it, or was maybe one of the shows earlier in the week where somebody called up and asked, what are the chances of the 3 area locals finishing 1, 2, 3 in the Metropolitan Division this year? And I didn't think that was going to happen, but the team that's bringing up the rear out of that pack, it's the Devils, right? And they were the ones going into the season that had the best odds to maybe take home a cup this year. And look, last night you lose in overtime, but you gave an extra point to a team you're chasing in Philadelphia. And I know there's still a lot of hockey to be played, but all these teams are so bunched together, and the Devil goaltending situation is not good. We know that. So I wonder when you start to panic if you're Jersey, given what all the expectations were for you at the beginning of the season.
They're going to have to do something because the goaltending is just not good enough, and the defense isn't good enough, which is a bad combination. I was doing the podcast with Anthony Pusick, and he brought up a great point. Colorado won a Stanley Cup with Kemper as their goaltender because they had an elite defense in front of them.
Yeah.
This is not an elite defense. There's a possibility Dougie Hamilton's not going to play again this year. So I talked about it on Game Misconduct, which you can pick up wherever you get your podcasts. Is there a fit with Calgary? Markstrom and Hannafin may be on the block for the Flames, who look like they're going to be selling off pieces here. And if they can fit it under the cap, Hannafin's a really good defenseman. They can replace Hamilton if he's not coming back. You'd love Markstrom as the goaltender for the Devils moving forward. This team is not going to compete for a cup as presently constituted. They're entertaining. They can score a ton of goals. They've been able to survive Timo Meier giving them almost nothing offensively because they've got Hughes, they've got Hischier, they've got Bratt. Very good offensive, entertaining team to watch. But that's not conducive for making a run in the playoffs when you're getting bad defense and bad goaltending. So I don't think the three of them are going to finish high. Before I start falling in love with the Islanders, I need to see more because, again, this has been a nice 10-game spurt here. But, the rest of the season, they were really just kind of running in place. The Rangers have been the most consistent team. They are among the elite teams in the NHL. They've got a head coach that is known to have an immediate impact. Early in his tenure in Carolina, he won a cup. Early in his tenure with Philadelphia, went to a Stanley Cup final. First year in Nashville, he went to a Stanley Cup final. So he's got that kind of an impact with teams when he gets there. Didn't happen in Washington because they were too old and too banged up. But and it's not like the Rangers haven't had injuries, Dan. I mean, they had to play 10 games without Fox. They played most of this year without Hedl. Kakko's been hurt for them, and yet they've still found ways to win. They've been really a terrific hockey team to watch. And we have this conversation every couple of months, Dan, like what local team's got the best chance to win a championship? The way the Rangers are playing right now, they are certainly in that conversation.
And how many people thought at the beginning of the season the Rangers would be in this position, and one of the guys that you would look to and say they're here because of him, not the guy who's a former Vezina Trophy winner, it's Jonathan Quick, who was on the back nine of his career. Think about that.
Yeah, he has been unreal. 9-0-1 in 10 starts as a Ranger. He grew up in Connecticut, dreamed of being a New York Ranger, and now he's going to close out his Hall of Fame career with the Rangers and certainly contributing there. We're waiting on Dan Orlovsky. He's going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes. So we'll be talking to him about some football. So let's go back to the phones in the meantime. But Dan has a comment.
Well, remember we speculated with the Aaron Rodgers decision, well, that's going to cost somebody a roster spot and somebody an opportunity or whatever. Well, we know the answer to that question, at least initially, because the Jets made it official. They activated Aaron Rodgers, and they released fullback Nick Bawden.
Okay. So it cost a job.
He's the guy. Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be able to hook up someplace else. So it's not nothing. We'll talk to Dan. I mean, because Dan was a career backup quarterback. So he would probably know the impact that Rodgers can have to close out this season, being able to participate in practice, being around the team, and whether my conspiracy theory has any validity to it.
Well, and the funny thing is, I know it's like the fullback is so antiquated in the NFL, but the Jets use a fullback.
Yeah, that's true.
And Bawden's played in every game this season. He actually has scored one of the few offensive touchdowns for the Jets this year, and now he's not on the team, which, hey, not my call.
All right, let's dive back into the phones, and let's talk to Alex in Pennsylvania. You're on ESPN New York. How are you, Alex?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Happy holidays. Don, Grassa, I love you guys. Wish Michael and Peter were here. Hey, I wanted to run something by you about the Giants offseason because there's a lot of teams that need a quarterback. We got the Bears possibly getting Caleb Williams. We got Drake May possibly going to the Patriots. And then Marvin Harrison, I think, is going to go to the Cardinals. But Washington just sat Sam Howell, and they got the fourth pick. Do you think that they're a threat of getting Jaden Daniels from the Giants?
I think that we'll go over that in just a second because Dan Orlovsky is joining us here for his weekly spot. Now time for the Dan Orlovsky Report, brought to you by Sansone Auto Mall. 10 top brands, over 2,000 vehicles, one place, Sansone Auto Mall in Woodbridge. How are you, buddy? It's Don LaGreca and Dan Grassa. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Good. We were just kind of batting around how much value Aaron Rodgers being activated but not playing is going to help the Jets move forward. Saleh said that he likes that he's going to be around, be able to participate in practice. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that they had to cut somebody to make room on the roster for somebody who's not going to play?
I think that's a bad thing. I think that's a bad thing for your organizational philosophy. I think it's a bad thing and an unfortunate thing for that person who got cut. Now, I don't know who it was. Is it a person who was going paycheck to paycheck when it came to like their how much they accrued in the NFL, or was their salary for the rest of the year guaranteed? So, I mean, it's a cutthroat business. Everyone's aware of that. But I think it's a bad thing for that person if they lost out on 3 weeks of a paycheck. And you're bringing up a guy to your roster that isn't going to play. I know every situation's different. Like, it's hard. Like, this is a moment where it's hard to say everything we do is going to be for the best thing for the football team to try to win games, and then go, well, this person's not going to do anything for, at least on game day, for us to help to win the game on the field. Was Aaron not going to be around if he wasn't brought up to the roster? So I think it's odd and it's weird that, you know, hey, not going to play, but he's going to be on the roster.
Dan, what do you think it says league-wide this season that so many backup quarterbacks are having at least a modicum of success? You know, are teams misevaluating the starting quarterback position by putting so much of an emphasis to it, and the inexact science that it is that you have guys that are just coming off the bench and in some cases operating the offense better than even the starters did?
Yeah, I'd still say this. You have to have one of those rare, elite, you win because of quarterbacks to consistently be in the Super Bowl conversation. Can you have the one-off season where you somehow, you know, everything falls your way and a good quarterback, a guy that you win with, wins you a Super Bowl? Sure, we have those examples, Nick Foles. I think a lot of the backup quarterbacks, one, they're able to keep you afloat, but once you get into the games that are playoff football games, more than likely going to get weeded out. Mm-hmm. It's easier to play quarterback nowadays, just is, than it was years ago. So more guys are capable of doing it at a serviceable level. Well, why is it easier? One, I mean, if just being blunt honest, when I was going to the NFL, I made teams because I was tough enough. You had to be able to, like, stand in there and prove in games that you could take hits. Quarterbacks don't take hits like they used to. So, you know, maybe guys have hung around because that's not necessarily like a massive need. I think, two, because of the rules, it's easier to call offensive plays. Precision isn't at a premium, or as much as a premium because of the rules, because you can't beat receivers up, because guys could throw the ball now and not kill receivers across the middle of the field. The RPO game, you know, years ago there was no such thing as the RPO, and so you didn't have these built-in kind of easier completions that some guys have. So I think if you look at a lot of the backup quarterbacks that are having success, the two things that become very apparent that they're having success in, RPOs and quarterback design runs. 10, 15 years ago, those were never a thing in the NFL.
So speaking of backup quarterbacks, we didn't get a chance to talk to you last week, Dan, after the victory over the Packers. Now, a bit of a step back after losing to New Orleans, but just give me your thoughts on Tommy DeVito and where do you think he fits on the New York Giants next year?
Yeah, I think Tommy DeVito's proved that, hey, I can vie for a backup job for the next couple of years in the NFL. He's obviously a great story, and it's so good on him for taking advantage of the opportunity he's been given. You know, he has made a lot of plays with his legs, and he's thrown the ball well in certain situations. And, you know, last week a little bit of a reality check and step back. So, but I do think that, listen, when you're a backup quarterback and you get the opportunity to play, it's more than likely the only opportunity that you are going to get. Take advantage of it and prove, like, hey, I can go out and play a little bit and at least give you a chance to win some games. You know, he certainly set himself up to give himself a career in that role.
Talking with Dan Orlovsky here on the Michael Kay Show, 98.7 ESPN. Where is the level on the panic meter that you push right now for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I would say out of a 10, it's like an 8.5. We can be honest about it. Good team, not a great team. Offensively, uncreative, relatively predictable. offensive line doesn't dominate the way it did last year. Quarterback doesn't trust the pocket the way he did last year. Pass game is very pedestrian when it comes to innovation behind it. Defensively, the defensive line's not nearly as active and physical. They get run on. The middle of their defense is easy to attack. The only person in coverage that's played well is Slay. And you just changed your defensive coordinator. So, yes, they're 10-4 and a good football team. But they are nowhere near what they were last year, and it's not even a shoo-in in a confident way to say that they're going to win a playoff game.
So what team's got the best chance to win in Frisco in the championship game?
Yeah, I think two teams that, so the only way to beat San Francisco is you got to outscore them. You're going to have to outscore them. You're going to have to treat San Francisco like 3 years ago teams started treating the Kansas City Chiefs and Patriots. You're not going to stop them. You'll hear people talk about, you're going to match up. You won't. So can you score 32 points? And I think there's two teams capable of doing that in San Francisco, Detroit and L.A. I say Detroit because you can run the football a little bit on San Francisco if you are diverse in your run game, meaning you run a lot of different runs. That is Detroit. They're not going to stop San Francisco much. But if you can get one takeaway or two third down, get off the field moments, I think they can run the ball and score enough. And I say LA because interdivision, they know each other well. Their run game is outstanding. It's all 11. And there's no quarterback in football throwing the ball better than Stafford.
Interesting stuff, Dan. Listen, have a tremendous holiday, man. We'll talk to you in 24.
You guys as well. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
That is Dan Orlovsky, and that's Dan Orlovsky Report brought to you by Sansone Automall. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Call Sansone Automall at 1-800-SANSONE. Mention Bart Scott and benefit from exclusive employee pricing. You pay what they pay. So interesting stuff from Dan. And Dan, I've got coming up a trivia question for you.
Oh,
football trivia, and I stumbled upon another list.
From BR Walkoff?
No.
Oh.
No.
Does Dan have to get the trivia question in under 5 clues?
He's not going to get it.
Oh, my.
I can't. I'm surprised by it.
I mean, that's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's fighting words. So
I remember the game.
We'll see what happens. Okay.
But I was surprised that it was the answer to the trivia question. So it's all coming up on the K Show with Don and Dan on Yes 98.7 ESPN New York.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
I'm Jessie Dover, co-founder of Dagny Dover. New York isn't for the faint of heart. The gear you carry around not only has to look good, but it has to work even better. That's why we create bags like the Landon Carryall, a bag that allows organizational junkies like me to be ready for whatever life brings. A bag that allows me to feel good about the things I carry. After all, this city is a reflection of who I am, purposeful, resilient, and ready to face whatever comes my way.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy, too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always. so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
Folks, the league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Is on pace to break the
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
With the click of a pen, you can get a new Volkswagen at the Sign Then Drive event. Hurry in to lease a new 2024 Taos for 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month's payment, and 0 due at signing.
The Pinions are shopping last-minute deals at Amazon. So now they're free to become the Party Pinions. They see your ugly sweaters and raise you some mittens. Shop last-minute deals now.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me. So did I. What's yours? I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun. Right. So what's your system? What's that? Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
When you order Domino's online, we'll give you a free pizza to use in the future. So you'll have an emergency pizza when you need it most. Here you go.
Thank you.
No matter the reason, when life gives you lemons, Domino's gives you free pizza.
Enjoy.
Thanks. Sorry, Dad. Get your emergency pizza when you order online.
Thank you.
Only from Domino's.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
You look like a responsible family guy. Looking for something with a little more space?
With the click of a pen, you can get a new Volkswagen at the Sign Then Drive event. Hurry in to lease a new 2023 all-electric ID4 for 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month's payment, and 0 due at signing. Limited inventory available.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. Both local basketball squads are back from their respective West Coast trips. The Knicks split their 4 games, while the Nets only managed 1 win on their 5-game, 9-day odyssey. Tonight, the two teams match up for the first of 4 times this season. The first 2 are at Barclays Center, while the last 2 will be at Madison Square Garden. After tonight, the next one is January 23rd in Brooklyn, then March 23rd and April 12th will be in Manhattan. Our coverage for tonight's game begins with an hour-long pregame show from Barclays Center beginning at 6:30, followed by opening tip a little after 7:30. It's the Nets and the Knicks. Coverage starting tonight at 6:30 right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
Got a little trivia for Dan Grassa. Now, Dan's a big football guy, as you know. So this should be easy for
I like how
him.
you have to preface that.
What do you mean?
Big football guy, I would hope so.
I don't know. I was just, the people might be new to the program. All right, this is from Greek, sent this to me. And he was actually...
Oh, so it's by way of Greek. Okay.
He was actually sending this to me for information, but I was able to create a trivia question out of it.
Okay.
Now, Christmas night at 8:15, we've got a gorgeous...
The Christmas.
Gorgeous game between Baltimore and San Francisco. It is only the second time since the 1970 merger. 2 teams with a share of the league's best record will meet in Week 16 or later. Of course, both teams 11-3 to start the season. What was the other game?
Giants-Bills, 1990.
Oh, that's a good one. No.
The game where Phil Simms broke his foot.
But that was that wasn't week 16.
I thought week 15,
yeah.
right? Wasn't it like second?
That was pre-bye, I believe. Or was there a bye?
There might have been buys in 90, actually. It might have been the first year with a bye, perhaps, maybe.
But no, that's not it.
Well, either way, but it's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
All right, so week 16 or later.
Great game, ended in overtime.
Oh, wow.
It was actually the regular season finale. Winner gets a bye, loser is a wild card team.
Can you give me a year?
I'll give you the date. January 2nd, 1994. So it's the 93 season.
That was January 2nd, 1994. That was... Oh, it was the Giants-Cowboys game.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
You know what's funny about that?
Yeah, but is that the right... That's not the right answer to the trivia question, though.
What do you mean?
You just said... Read what Anthony Greek sent you. Ravens and 49ers are the one seeds in respective leagues. The Giants and the Cowboys are both in the NFC.
Yeah, but they both had a share of the best record in the NFL. That's what I said.
But I thought it was both in each conference.
For only the second time since the 1970 merger, two teams with a share of the league's best record will meet in Week 16 or later. So the Giants and the Cowboys were tied with the best record in football going into the final game of the season.
Even more than anybody in the AFC at that time that year? Wow.
Elias wouldn't lie to you, Dan.
Greek told us that the 1990, that was Week 15 when the Giants lost to the Bills and Simms got hurt.
All right, so that's interesting because remember in '93 that was the last of the it was the last of the last of the 4 straight trips to the Super Bowl the Bills made. And they beat the Montana Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in Buffalo. But that's interesting. That was also the day, I remember it, January 2nd, 1994. That night, which was the last game of the regular season, that was the infamous Buddy Ryan, Kevin Gilbride game where the Oilers shut out the Jets.
Absolutely, good call.
All the Jets needed to do was win and they're in, and they got shut out.
That's a very, very good call. I'm just trying to take a look at the Giants... Because I know they closed out the 90 season that year in New England against the Patriots.
Didn't Hostetler play that game?
Yeah, we had to because Simms got hurt.
Duh, that's why.
And, I thought so. Yeah, because you know what? The Giants in 19... Let me go back. To 1990, they lost... It was a Saturday game in the rain.
Yeah,
but
awful.
But and I thought this was true. I just wanted to confirm it. It was Week 15. The Giants then went to Phoenix, beat the Cardinals, and then went to New England and beat the Patriots with Hostetler as the backup. So it was a Week 15 game. But not a bad call because the Bills obviously were good. The Giants were 11-2 going into that game. And the Bills in that game were... 11-2. So, they were both 11-2. But it was Week 15. That's why it's not the answer to the question. But good job, Bob.
You know what's funny about that, Don and Dan?
Yeah.
What's that?
I put that factoid in the NFL yesterday. I left out the other game.
Well, see, you just weren't creative enough.
Exactly.
The only game was the only time, and people rip me for this, but see if you follow me. It was the only time that the Giants lost a football game of that magnitude that I wasn't completely devastated because I just thought the better team won. Like the Giants were home, but remember that was kind of a surprise season for them. It was the first year under Dan Reeves, so there weren't.
That was Emmitt Smith playing with one shoulder in that game, right?
Yeah, exactly. He faked the shoulder injury. I think that's been confirmed. So. It was an amazing game. Giants took it to overtime, lost. And I said to myself, I was disappointed they lost. But I said, you know what? They lost to a better team, and the team went on to win the Super Bowl. So
you know what's interesting about that, though, too? Like, they weren't the only two teams that had the share of the best record in the NFL, because you had two teams in the AFC who had the same record. The Bills and the Oilers were both 11-4 going into that last one as well.
The key word to the text from Greek was share.
Interesting.
But no, those teams were not playing each other, so completely invalid. But good trivia.
Invalid.
And you know what? I
liked it.
I mean, I gave you the year, but you didn't have to know the answer. Would you have gotten it, Anthony, if I gave you the year?
Well, I read it.
Yeah, because you were, what, 1?
He wouldn't have seen. He
In
never saw the
93?
Goonies. He wouldn't have known that.
I wasn't born, but I read the note earlier in the week.
January
still didn't
2nd, 1994.
Nope, still not born.
When were you born?
That's amazing.
August 6th, 1994.
That seems like it was 5 minutes ago, and Anthony wasn't even alive yet. Like, think about it. He's a dear friend now.
Wait a minute.
I remember like it was yesterday.
So August is month. Yeah, so you weren't even conceived yet.
Nope, I have not seen a Rangers Stanley Cup, correct.
I'm surprised Griffin didn't bring that to the table today.
Your parents, or Richard, your parents were still debating whether they wanted to partake.
Yep.
Right, that was a November situation for Anthony, so it was November 93. It could have been a Thanksgiving scenario.
All right, who was the caller that we had to interrupt because of Dan Orlovsky again?
Alex.
I'm sorry. That's right. You know what? Maybe we know what gave it away. The slug called before Orlovsky. Alex in Pennsylvania. Continue with your phone call, buddy. We're sorry we had to interrupt you.
Hey, it's all right, man. I'll wait to talk to you guys any day.
What's up, buddy?
Again, happy holidays. Yeah, I was saying, Giants are in a good spot to draft a quarterback this year. Obviously, Danny Dimes is probably going to be on his way out. What do you think the Giants should do? Because a lot of people are calling about what they should do, but I want to hear what you guys think they should do.
I think if there's a quarterback available they like, that's the direction you have to go into. Like you said, it looks like it's going to be Daniel Jones last year, and there's a possibility Daniel Jones isn't going to be ready for the start of the season. So if the Giants do all the right things during the offseason, try to take a step forward after a disappointing season, no offense to Tommy DeVito, but can you afford to have Tommy DeVito be your starting quarterback? Or do you want to, on top of that, do you want to have the next guy on your roster?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, too, guys.
Heisman Trophy winner. It's just like, how do you not want a quarterback like that has that fire? The team's going to want to play for a guy like that. We had a caller calling the other day, like Tommy DeVito is like a guy that plays that the team's playing for. You know what I mean? They want to see this guy play and do good.
Yeah, but Alex, don't read too much into the Heisman Trophy. I mean, a lot of Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks did nothing in the NFL.
Charlie Ward, Gino Torretta. I mean, there's a lot of
Eric Crouch.
for
crying out loud.
Listen, do I want
Gino Torretta?
Do I think he's going to be a good quarterback? I don't know. I mean, but if the Giants, and I don't know how the Giants feel about any of these quarterbacks, but if they believe in one of them, they got to get him, because it doesn't look like Daniel Jones is long for the career with the Giants. And Tommy DeVito, to me, is going to be a serviceable backup. He's not the next quarterback of this franchise. So they're going to have to draft a quarterback.
Well, the difference, I think, between the Giants situation and the Jets situation with the draft, and look, they could be picking right next to each other in the draft this year. The Jets are still considered a win-now team because Aaron Rodgers is your guy next year, right? You need to go all in to give him as much help as possible. Giants, on the other hand, I think you approach it as Daniel Jones is here at least for one more year. Right. Now, he might be the guy next year. He might not be the guy. Who the heck knows, coming off of an injury. But I still think if you're the Giants, you need to look big picture-wise. And if that quarterback is there for the future, you take him if there's a guy you like. Because even if Jones is your guy, Don, you still can't look at the Giants as the same urgency to win now like you would with the Jets, whose quarterback is 4 years old.
Exactly. So, and then you might want to draft a weapon for Aaron. So there's a lot going on. And the Giants have 2 second-round picks, so they could very easily trade up too if they're not going to be in a position to draft a quarterback wherever they're going to be selecting. Let's go to Jason, Long Island. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Jason?
Hey, what's up, guys? John LeGrec there.
Yes.
If you're such a Giant fan, don't you remember that was Lawrence Taylor's last game crying on the bench?
No, the last game was in San Francisco when they got crushed.
Yeah, but that game pretty much ended his career. He was done on the bench crying.
Well, they beat the Vikings the next week at home in the playoffs, Jason.
And I remember I was at that Viking.
But that was all the marbles that year. And also, Emmitt Smith in that divisional game against Green Bay that year, was getting picked up off the ground after every play. Second, John Madden, the first time in his career, I don't know if you guys remember this, I do, went into the Cowboys locker room, walked over to Emmitt Smith and said, the greatest game I ever seen.
Well, you remember because you're a Cowboy fan. Don, Jason's like today's version of what the caller was yesterday.
But I don't know what I screwed up when they played the Cowboys. Then they beat the Vikings at home, and I was at that game, and they were chanting LT, LT, because everybody knew that was probably going to be his last game at home. They knew it was going to be over. They got absolutely destroyed in San Francisco. I believe Ricky Waters had like 5 touchdown runs in that game. They got completely disgraced and destroyed. It was Phil Simms' last game as well.
Yeah.
So it was a devastating. I was more devastated by that game than I was the Cowboy game.
But that was all the marbles. The Cowboys would have had been a wild
That's
card.
That's right, because the Giants were the wild card.
So that was big. That was a big thing.
Thank you, Jason, for whatever that was.
I think it's just a Cowboy fan.
Well, he said he wasn't. He's a full NFL fan. The reason I mock Cowboy fans that it was a fake injury is because he always said, he said it after the game, that in order to conserve his energy, he never got up himself. He always had a teammate help him up. That conserved his energy. And I always thought the shoulder was earned because it didn't affect him at all. He was using the shoulder to block to break through tackles. And then when he recounted the event, he had the wrong shoulder injury. So I have fun. He probably was hurt, but I love tweaking Cowboy fans. And they get all excited.
Well,
you won the game. All right?
And it's almost like he was sitting there trying to, like, lift up Emmitt Smith and almost kind of say that he may have been a superior player to Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was a better player than Emmitt Smith. And Lawrence Taylor's the greatest defensive player of all time. Emmitt Smith is great, too, but he's not Lawrence Taylor.
And Emmitt Smith was early in his career, and he was like his 3rd year in the league, and Lawrence Taylor was in his last year. And then he's like, you're a big Giant fan, like big tough guy, about him crying on the bench. He didn't cry on the bench after the Cowboy game.
I don't remember that one.
He cried on the bench after the San Francisco game. So there was still a win at home against the Vikings. And then when they lost to San Francisco, he knew he was done. He announced his retirement after the game. That's why he was crying. Had nothing to do with the Dallas
game.
He
got hurt in that game, too, Don. Didn't he have to get carted off in the San Francisco game? Didn't he get hurt?
No, well, he tore his Achilles against Green Bay the year before. I don't remember him getting hurt in the San Francisco game.
I think he got hurt in that game.
But he was crying because he knew it was his last game. And we didn't know. Phil didn't know. Fast forward to the day after the Rangers won the Stanley Cup that Phil got cut. So it was the last game for Phil Simms, last game for Lawrence Taylor, but it wasn't after the Cowboy game. They played 2 more weeks after that. Thought you were a Giant
question
fan.
for you.
I'm a Giant fan, and I'm going to stop because I'm going to get mad.
Trivia question.
Oh, I love
the Viking game, that playoff game in '93. Vikings starting quarterback that day was who?
In '93.
He was a Super Bowl champion quarterback already, but obviously with another team.
Oh,
and
that
will always
would be
known for
that would
the other
be Jim McMahon.
You got it. See, that's Don LaGreca right there. He's a Giants fan. He's a football fan. He appreciates the damn sport. Good job.
All right, coming up, we've got Point God, and then I've got a list for Dan, and then an Anthony Pusick-led ENN at 6 o'clock.
Yay! Like a list? Like a Don LaGreca list?
No.
No,
I stumbled upon this.
By the way, can we get those before the end of the week? Like it is the holidays. Like I want a list. I want a Don's top 5 list.
I got 2 days to work. Yeah, we can do that.
No, you have to. I mean, we're going to be together Friday. Definitely we need a list. You can make it holiday theme, whatever the hell you want it to be, but we need a list.
All right, we're going to do that. But first, Point God and a list I stumbled upon on the internet. On Yes and 98.7 ESPN.
See everything your store can do with tools from Square. Your inventory automatically restocks, so you never run low. Your online store stays open 24/7, so you're always ready to sell. Your payments are processed in seconds, so customers can breeze through checkout. And with one account to manage it all, you've got more time for taking time out. Get your all-in-one retail system by signing up at square.com today.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
Folks, the league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other night.
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Scorers on pace to break the
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
We just shipped our millionth monthly coffee subscription box. We're sending custom thank you gifts to everyone on our team who helped us get there. I had to call Eric at Custom Ink. Custom Ink has been with us from the beginning, and he makes sure that we get everything we need and even reminds us of our own company milestones. This milestone, though, I get to tell him about. He is every bit as excited as we are and knows great quality products we can customize and send for the gifts. Celebrate all your milestones with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
There's an easier way with Thumbtack. Download the app today and care for your home from top to bottom.
I needed something in the shop, comfortable.
I wear Brunt boots, as you see, got them on my feet right now. Keeps you warm, it keeps you dry, triple layered comfort.
Comfortable in the morning, comfortable in the afternoon. These feel like kind of like sneakers.
They're waterproof, durable. Been wearing them for over a year now. They're absolutely amazing.
This is the only shoe I wear in here now.
Brown boots are cool.
Wearing Brunt boots, my feet, my back, and my legs don't hurt at the end of the day.
Go online and try any of our gear on the job for 30 days, risk-free.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping, always. Sign up today and get free chicken wings for a year. ButcherBox.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Perfect night for football here in the Big Apple.
It's a great venue, one of the iconic venues in the world for sports.
It's absolutely electric down on the field. I've never seen a bowl game like this.
Things getting wild here at Yankee Stadium.
Tip off this basketball season with Prize Picks, the easiest way to play daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on player stats like points, assists, rebounds, and more. You can win up to 25 times your cash. Go for the win across the country and flex on them with Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Visit prizepicks.com/TV for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy.
When choosing between style, comfort, and performance, we chose all of the above. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
The promise of America is freedom, equality. But right now, those pillars of our democracy are fragile. Reproductive rights, voting rights, the right to make your own choices and have your voice heard. We must act now to restore and protect these freedoms for us and for the future. We are the American Civil Liberties Union, and we are fighting in every state, every day to defend your rights and the rights of all people.
We have got to be here. We've got to be strong to protect those rights.
For over 100 years, the ACLU has fought for everyone to have a voice and equal justice, and we will never stop. Because we, the people, means all of us. To learn more about defending our democracy, go to myaclu.org today.
Teachers are skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world, expertly discovering solutions. Inspiring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready?
Couldn't have done it without Anthony. Can't do things like that without a great producer.
Okay.
Don and Dan.
By the way, that's
till 6:30. What's that?
Because you mentioned Tom Seaver, and I know that this isn't a topic or a category,
Sure.
but I mean it could be one day if you have a slow news day, or we need things to talk about. I think one of my top regrets as a sports fan, sports observer in my lifetime, is that I wasn't old enough to watch Tom Seaver pitch in this town.
It's
as a Met fan.
One of those men. And listen, I didn't see him in his prime. I mean, I have more memories of him as a Red and a White Sox, and sitting there watching the World Series in '86 as a Red Sox in the dugout, inactive. And then, I remember his return to the Mets and what a big deal that was, only to lose him the very next year as they left him unprotected when he ended up going to the White Sox and winning his 300th game there. I got to see him, but I didn't see him nearly in his prime. We'll get to the list in a second, but I got an interesting call here from Michael, upstate New York. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Dan and Don. Love you guys' chemistry together. So, Don, I actually have a question for you, and I don't know if this ever happened to you before, but I'm a little bit under the weather, and I call games for my high school, and tonight's a big one. It's a basketball game. The boys' basketball team, it was the first time since 1978 in which they were sectional champions here in upstate, and I'm not feeling that good. I got to bring it in like 2 hours. Don, I need some help. How am I going to really get this
Well, what
done?
are your symptoms?
Yeah, what do you got?
I got my nose is really runny, right? Congested, cough, it's not there.
Because you
My
sound
sore
fine,
throat.
Michael. I mean, I think just rest your voice, because if you're worried about your voice, it sounds fine to me. It sounds strong. I'm telling you, get Manuka honey. It's like a miracle drug. It's expensive, but go to like Whole Foods, get some Manuka honey, all right? And then just try to get some like saline for the nose. That'll help a little bit with the runny nose. But your biggest concern has to be your voice. Your voice sounds strong right now. But go run, get the Manuka honey. If you got a Whole Foods close to you, or like any kind of health food store or pharmacy, it's going to cost a lot of money, but it's well worth it.
If you didn't say you were sick, I had no idea.
So I think you're in good shape.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, I worried about the runny nose because, it's during the broadcast, we're not going to have a lot of breaks. It's going to be high school basketball. It goes by fast, so we'll see what happens.
Well,
I can imagine they didn't sell a lot of
I think you're not even going to notice it. You're going to be fine, Michael. Good luck, and call us tomorrow. Let us know how it went. And if you got a call, send it over. We'll play it on the air. So get it to
Thankfully,
us.
it wasn't anything intestinal, because then you got a problem.
You go through it all. I mean, there's always some drug you can take, but his voice sounded strong. I thought he was going to be, somebody that didn't sound well, but he sounded strong. So just rest your voice. Don't call talk shows and wreck your voice. But
that could have been an email or a tweet or something like, hey, I need some advice.
Well, listen, he got through, and hopefully I can help him out. All right, I stumbled upon this.
Yeah.
Variety has an article, top 100 television shows of all time. So
You're doing this with 40 seconds left in the segment.
No. Is that how much is left? That's not a lot.
Yeah.
Just give me, all right, so give me the top 5.
This is comedy and drama?
Comedy,
like
drama, specials, anything.
God. Sopranos.
Sopranos is number 3.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad is number 5. So you got 2 of the top 5. Bang!
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is not in the top 5. They've got Seinfeld at 8.
It's a mistake. MASH.
MASH, I'm sure it's on this list. It's not in the top 10.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Like The Wire or something like that.
The Wire's 7.
Okay. So I got 4 of the top 8.
Pretty good.
Oh, boy.
So number 5, Breaking Bad.
Cheers.
Cheers, I believe, was 11.
Okay. 5 of the top 11.
You're not bad.
I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy's number 1.
Get the hell out of here. Really?
I guess because it was groundbreaking.
Seeing somebody stuff chocolates in a mouth in black and white, I guess,
4,
back in the day.
And you need 2.
Well, if they put I Love Lucy number 1, you're going to tell me Ralph Cramden and the Honeymooners are in there, too, somewhere?
Not in the top 10.
Archie Bunker, All in the Family.
I think it's like 16.
Okay.
Big Bang Theory.
People thought Frasier was funny. I was never a big Frasier guy, but is that in
Frasier's
there?
not in the top 10 that I saw.
Okay.
I'm sure it's on the list somewhere, but... All right, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to give you the top 10 quick, and then we'll break, because we got to get in it.
Okay.
Number 10 was Roots.
So that's a mini-series. I wasn't thinking mini-series
special.
at all.
I said that. Because Saturday Night Live is up there, too, but not in the top 10. Mary Tyler Moore, 9.
Okay.
Seinfeld, 8. The Wire, 7. Sex and the City, 6. Yeah, it's a joke.
Come on.
Breaking Bad, 5. Way too...
What is this, BR walk-off?
Way too low for Breaking Bad, because it's better than The Sopranos. 4, The Simpsons.
I wasn't even thinking that. That's a compiler type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the Don Sutton of TV shows. The 3 is The Sopranos, as I mentioned. 2, Mad Men. And 1...
that's not 2. It's not.
Is I Love Lucy.
The BR walk-off power hitter list, I think, had more credibility than the top 10 TV shows.
ENN's coming up next. We'll try to recover here on Yes and 98.7 ESPN New York.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
Jeff has a problem. It started when he ordered his Brunt work boots. He's beating them up 14 hours a day, going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. At my place, with his buddies, at night. I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof." I don't know if we're gonna make it through the 30-day risk-free trial.
Of course they will, babe. They're super durable.
I'm not talking about the boots, Jeff.
Brunt, the tools you wear. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
This is my coffee shop. And that's me in my custom shirt from Custom Ink. This week, we moved into a new, bigger space and brought on another employee. To celebrate, I ordered new branded gear for the whole team. Everything was so easy to make with Custom Ink's Design Lab. I just chose my products, added our logo, and placed my order. Our new gear really helps us look and feel like a team. Bring your own team together with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
Folks, the league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Scoring is on pace to break the
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
Win big while streaming the Nets with Pick and Play on the Yes app. Make your picks before tip-off and win up to $10,000. What a move! Yes, Pick and Play. It's the game within the game, only on the Yes app.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and my dad can get through the wide doorways. He can reach anything.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post-9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Perfect. What did you get us?
With the click of a pen, you can get a new Volkswagen at the Sign Then Drive event. Hurry in to lease a new 2024 Taos for 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month's payment, and 0 due at signing.
Show me what you're cooking. Oh, let me see the moves. You got the whole world looking like the kind of magic taking hold of
If you get Yes on TV, then you get the Yes app for free. Download now.
On the right foot.
Significant that is.
And I think we accomplished it today. Welcome, everybody, to ENN on this Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm Anthony Pusick, and I'd like to start off, if I can.
It's born in August of '94, by the way.
Oh, sure. Good evening to Don.
Don, you're ridiculous. You're being a jerk. You have no idea about football or the Jets. Shut your mouth.
That's not very nice.
No, that was mean. To
that was mean to yourself.
That's not
How about this
self-love.
one?
Gas is funny. That's anti-self-love. Gas is funny.
And this.
Number 10, DJ Martinez.
I think it's JD.
Martinez. Sorry, I got a little dyslexic there.
I like how the dyslexia comes and goes. Like it's like you could turn it on and turn it off. I think it's a condition.
No,
You
you're
have
right.
it,
I
you gotta
shouldn't
deal
mock.
with it.
I was just, I don't know what I did.
It's not like a light
I
switch.
don't know if it was mocking. You said I saw the letters differently.
But the way he said it, though, was kind of amusing.
This was good.
Replay that again?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Number 10, DJ Martinez.
I think it's
JD.
JD.
Martinez.
Sorry, I got a little dyslexic there.
Right, I got a little dyslexic. It's like, oh, close that door. There was a gust of wind that came in, got a little chilly.
Well, if you close the door, then this wouldn't happen.
Like if it was a Martin
Because it was-
Luther situation, I might not have looked at it.
If you put the list on the door and he just he nailed it to the
Now,
door and he didn't leave that day.
That was great how you equated that to just nailing a letter right on the door.
Now,
come on.
There's like a fraction of the audience that got it, but the people that got it enjoyed it.
Good for you. Yeah, good.
You got
That's the equivalent nowadays. Like the things you get stuck on your door now are either like takeout menus or like cleaning service places. Like I clean your house and they put their business card like in your door. That's all you get.
I clean.
We cover a lot on this show. We really do.
What are they supposed to say? I don't clean your house, so I'm just sticking my business card here for nothing.
I think you should just drop. I think you should drop your business card, Dan. If somebody needs somebody to talk sports, why not? We've lost Don. His face is red.
I mean, there's always some drug you can take.
We haven't even gotten to the part that I thought was going to derail
What was so funny?
That's he's done. He's done. No, it's both red. Don's out. Look at that. It's so good because you see the basically the fat head of Don in the background. That's completely his normal color skin, and then you've got red Don.
I can't
I'm trying to see it
expound
on
why
yes,
it's
like
funny.
just his, yeah.
You have DirecTV, right?
Yeah, so I'll see it probably on Friday.
You'll see it in 4 hours. How about this, Dan?
You need like some old nurse to feed you applesauce 3 times a day.
What kind of applesauce? Cinnamon flavor,
Mott's.
regular? Oh, Mott's.
No, regular Mott's with the sugar.
Fantastic
Because kids
product.
like sugar.
Now, who doesn't love that?
What do you want for dinner tonight? I'll have a crumb that's on the ground.
This is what Woodja can do to you. And, of course, last but certainly not least today, we have Griffin in Connecticut.
Guys decide to stay together and you have a happily ever after life. Yep. Blah, blah, blah. Your wife has sex. You know what?
Well, it's good. That's a good feature of the wife.
Now, here's the thing about what you said, Don, about drop
Right,
madness.
exactly.
There's an argument to be made that the nether region could actually be all Griffin. However, I think that no matter who it is, they can only get 1 or 2 drops in the nether region. Remember, we have some great ones from Passon this year. Let me see if I could find any of them. We got Tony DeVito.
Fought now.
So you got to have that in there.
Here we go.
I think that was last year, but it's still funny.
Yeah. What about Richard's vulgarity yesterday when he
smoke weed every day?
Yeah, that's a
Remember,
great Passon one.
Now listen. Come on. Now, Dan, we're talking about the possibility of these making. This has got to be a top seed.
Smoke weed every day.
You know who that is?
No.
That's Jeff Passon.
Oh, was it?
Smoke weed every day.
Come on. That's just now it makes it funny.
When Jeff Passon went out as a Delta blues singer for Halloween.
Then we got this.
Most people would probably not know that I could play the piano by ear.
But of course, we have.
Hey guys, how are you?
That's another Griffin. So we have options.
Oh, plenty.
Lorvis is great.
This is very good.
Gotta love.
Weed horse in France.
Last time I looked, I have to think back. I think there's at least 50 drops in each region right now. So I have some work to do.
You got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be epic. Come March, it's going to be. Forget the actual NCAA tournament. This is what people are going to be paying
But
attention.
I saw the way Andrew did it, and now I looked at. I did it the same way Andrew did it, and I said, "There's got to be a better way." And like every week or so, I look back at our drops, and I pick the ones that I know that have either interested you or Michael or Peter, and I put them in a document, and then I kind of keep track of them. I haven't deleted anything yet. That's why. So like throughout from last March, let's say, or April to now. I've got about I've got about 200 drops.
Wow.
That I think could make the tournament.
Love it.
So this is going to be a very,
We're
very
thinking
fun
of
year.
expanding just like the NCAA. We're going to go.
No, but they better not, though. Leave it the way it is. Enough with this 96 garbage.
Don't stop booing them.
You think that's going to make it?
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Chocolate soft serve in your pants.
Think that's going to make it?
Johnny Damon was a mangy mess with the Red Sox.
Mangy?
A mangy, whatever it is.
I think that'll make it too. We had a good day today, though, guys.
I loved
Robert
it.
Saleh announcing that Aaron Rodgers has been activated. Now we heard from Dan Orlovsky, which you can hear on the Hour 3 podcast when I post it eventually.
How long does that take you to do, by the way?
If I was in the studio, it'd be up. But I'm here.
So it's a quick turnaround, is what you're saying.
I think it's a quick turnaround. I think I can get it. I can get the podcast up in a relatively quick fashion. I saved myself from a drop there. I saved myself from a drop there. Here's Robert Saleh talking about Aaron Rodgers' future.
We're always going to be as aggressive as can be, and thankfully we do have a tremendous owner who is willing to push the envelope as far as we can, and we've got to be smart and got to make sure we're doing the right things, but we want to win a championship. We believe we can win a championship, and I know he said 2 years, but in a perfect situation, we win a championship next year, and he walks off in the sunlight, but that's a whole nother discussion for the offseason. So.
Take a couple more.
No, but you get the point. I think he's going to play until his wheels fall off. I don't think it's 1, 2. I think he'll go 3, 4, 5 if he can. That's just my opinion. So
kind of said both there, didn't he?
3, 4, 5.
Win a Super Bowl right off in the sunset, or play 3, 4 more years.
Well, meaning that he'll chase the ring. And if he gets it, he might bow out, which I think is possible. And if he feels like they're close and needs to give it another year to get there, well, then he's worth doing that. I mean, look, he wants to be Tom Brady. Brady played till he was 45. So that would give – I think that's why that's a magical number. I don't know if it's realistic. But I think 2 years is definitely realistic. But if they were to win the Super Bowl next year, could I see him retiring? Yeah, of course. But if they make the playoffs and lose in the divisional round and say, I'm coming back in 25, we're going to try to take the next step.
He also today spoke very much like a guy, because we had visited this earlier in the week. He spoke like a guy when talking about next year that is essentially including himself a part of it.
Oh, yeah. No,
the head coach I'm talking about.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he got a vote of confidence from not the owner, but the next best thing, and that's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I mean,
and again, I know it's got to be tough for Jet fans, but honestly, I would, and this isn't just because I work the broadcasts, I think you have to go into this offseason with this almost the same level of excitement that you did with this season.
No, it's
because you have Aaron Rodgers again.
But you're going to have to. You're not going to have the same excitement if they run it back with like zero changes. They're going to have to. They're going to have to.
No, they can't.
They're going to have to come back with a better offensive line, couple of more weapons. You're going to have to see some tweaks, and you might have to see, not the main coaches, but there's going to have to be some, whether they're cosmetic or significant changes. It goes beyond just the general manager and the head coach. There's going to have to be other changes here, but running it back in the sense that Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback, Robert Saleh is your head coach, coordinators stay the same, Joe Douglas stays the same. That's running it back, not bringing back the exact same roster, because then why would you expect anything to be different?
Aaron Rodgers named two people on the offense, Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. I think that there's going to be some adjustments. And he said there's going to be some difficult decisions to be made. So what does that mean? Guys that are under contract that get moved on from? We don't know. But we'll see. Mike Tannenbaum, our good friend, somebody called and wanted him to be a CEO of the Jets yesterday. Remember that? He was on Bart and Hahn today, which you could hear every day on 98.7 ESPN and ESPN New York from noon to 3 before us. That's on Ray Row. Thank you, Jacob. Jacobs does a great job on that show. Tom does a great job on that show. Ray de-pirates the ship. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Does Rodgers, being committed for 2 years, change the Jets' offseason approach, Mike T?
No. And look, that's Aaron Rodgers, the competitor, talking, and I think we all love and appreciate that. But, the reality is that's 34 regular season games from now. That is a lifetime, an absolute lifetime. And I had the privilege of working with Dan Marino, being around Testaverde, Favre. All those guys would say the same thing, that what sent them home for their careers was their footwork and foot quickness. And it's that 0.1%, and no one's going to know until Aaron Rodgers plays next summer if he still has that legendary quickness in the pocket.
It's not just that. It's just his footwork, and it has been immaculate his whole career. It has nothing to do with speed. Even just half a step can mean the difference between completing a pass and not completing a pass. His footwork is as good as any quarterback there's ever been.
That's why it would have been better with Aaron Rodgers over any of the quarterbacks that they have, clearly. But it wouldn't have been good enough.
No.
The biggest thing is, would he have gotten hurt in another way?
I think it would have been playoffs good enough, no?
Well, to Don's point, though, I mean, you're down to a fourth quarter. In all probability, I mean, I'm only saying this because Zach Wilson still hasn't cleared concussion protocol.
C.J. Stroud still hasn't cleared concussion protocol.
Think about that. And Trevor Lawrence, the same thing. So this is 4 quarterbacks already. You're telling me everything would be A-okay? I'm not so sure.
No, listen, if it wasn't the Achilles, it could have been something else. We just won't know. But, no, I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting offseason, see how this transpires, what the Jets do in the draft, what the Giants do in the draft. And Mike Tannenbaum been very vocal about how he feels about Daniel Jones. He was on B&H. What is Daniel Jones' future with the Giants?
Yeah, Daniel Jones isn't the guy, and there's a number of reasons why. When you consider production, durability, and salary, for those 3 reasons, I don't think he's the long-term guy. So, again, I'm not saying he's great, but would you rather have someone like Gardner Minshew and $35 million a year or Daniel Jones? Is he better than Tommy DeVito? Yeah, probably. But is he $40 million a year better than Tommy DeVito? So when you're building a team, salary and the context of what a player makes is a big part of the discussion. So I know his money's guaranteed next year, but if I'm the Giants, I can't assume that Daniel Jones is going to take us to where we want to go.
Now, that's what makes
Daniel Jones.
I'm sorry, go ahead there.
No, I was going to say, Daniel Jones ain't going to that pizzeria in Morristown for free. I can promise you that.
Think he likes pizza? He's got to have had good New York pizza, New Jersey pizza.
I don't know if he has good pizza taste, though, because isn't he from, Carolina or someplace south? They don't know what pizza is.
No,
see that Sauce didn't eat pizza for a long time? This year he tried pizza?
I don't know how you could go the majority of your life without eating pizza.
You should ask him that, Dan. Next time you see him.
Yeah, because they've got, what is he, from Detroit, not Yonkers.
No. Not that he
Detroit.
didn't. Not that he hadn't eaten New York pizza.
Oh, New York
He
pizza.
said,
Well, I mean-
I love Detroit style, and I didn't want to try anything else. And he said it's pretty
That's
good.
fair. I'm not mad
What's
at that.
Detroit style?
That is the not deep dish, but I believe the crust is actually burnt cheese.
Yeah.
Like Little Caesars? That's Detroit country, right?
But that's
there
not.
you go.
I think they have a Detroit style pizza, but I don't think their standard pizza is Detroit style pizza. There was a Detroit style pizza place in the city, I believe. You can get Detroit style pizza.
Detroit.
I never heard of Detroit style pizza. You?
Yeah.
I've heard about it recently. Have you had it, Don? You've been to Detroit a couple times, do Red Wings games.
No.
Okay.
I don't remember what
No,
the
'cause I don't think you're
cuisine
going to
I had
Detroit
in
to try their
Detroit.
pizza.
So that's next. Next time we'll get Detroit style pizza. You, me, Buttle. All right, Dan. We'll get Ray involved.
That's something. That's not nothing.
Don, you come with us. Sounds good.
I love it. I love
All right.
hanging
So
out
Mike
with you
T,
guys.
should the Giants draft a quarterback?
Yeah, I'm drafting a quarterback. Look, we'll see how it shakes out, but Drake May could possibly be there, and then you're into the next group of guys that'll be include Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, amongst others. And if I'm the Giants, until you have one, it's really going to be hard to compete against Dak Prescott, against Jalen Hurts. So even with, other questions around receiver, offensive line, if I'm the Giants and I'm picking 5, I'm picking a quarterback.
He thinks Drake May's going to be there at 5?
Look, every single one of these quarterbacks, surprise, surprise, has a flaw against them. There's no perfect quarterback.
No, of course not.
Every single one of them. Even I'm just talking about what you saw this year, even on the college football field. There's some strike you can throw against them.
But the Giants could still trade up, too, if they wanted to get that. The point with Daniel Jones, whether you're a fan of him or not, he is going into a make-or-break season and won't even be ready for camp. So what are you betting? How do you think this is going to end for him? Now, if he went out there and balled out, they'd pick up they'd continue the rest of the 2 years that are left on the contract and try to make it work with him. Because if he balls out, $40 million is not a lot of money for a quarterback that's going to take it to the playoffs. But it looks like he's going to miss camp, may not be ready for the start of the season, so he's already starting behind the 8 ball. So
when did he get hurt? October or November?
So that was the Raider game was the last straw. So when was that?
It was probably
November.
November.
November,
So
yeah.
It feels like forever ago at this point. Remember, it was 2 different injuries as well.
So So if it ends up going a
Had the neck
calendar
first.
year, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, he's missing a good chunk of the start of the season. So somebody's got to
ACL,
play for
right?
you.
November 5th was the ACL.
All right, so think about it. ACL, Breece Hall had the ACL, and he got hurt in October of last year, and he was ready to go week 1 the following season. He's a running back who relies more on his
True.
legs than Daniel
But
Jones does.
I'm going by Joe Shane, who says that everybody's different, and he has seen that injury sometimes take a calendar year. Monty Toomer had the same injury and said he was not 100% until like a year later. So, all right, maybe he can come back for the start of camp. Well, the start of camp is what, late July? So, 8 months, 9 months for the start of the season.
There's a fair chance you have to have another quarterback ready. For the start.
Because you're going to open camp and he's not going to be 100%, and you just can't have Tommy DeVito and who? Right. And Daniel Jones. So there's going to have to bring.
How
So
dare
what do you
you.
bring in? You draft a quarterback, but even if you draft a quarterback, you're probably going to need a veteran there that might need to be your starter to start. If Tommy DeVito's chariot turns back into a pumpkin. Or are you comfortable with Tommy DeVito starting the first couple of games of the season until Daniel Jones is ready?
Who's getting like the day 1 first team reps, day 1 of training camp for the Giants next year?
I'm guessing Tommy DeVito.
Or
even if they draft a quarterback, you think that somebody else will get the first team reps?
Dan's right. You can't go in with Tommy DeVito is going to have what
You
at
can't.
that point 8 NFL starts.
But I'm not saying you are. You could still draft one and still think
All right.
Tommy DeVito should be getting the first rep.
But
I
you're
don't
not
think
going
that
to go
guy's on this roster now.
I agree.
You're not going to go into camp with your 2 healthy quarterbacks being a guy that has never started an NFL game and another guy that's only started like 8 of them.
Okay, I see what you're
So
saying.
you're going to have to bring somebody
I got
in
it.
to be the grown-up in the room, right, to compete. So they're going to have to sign a veteran quarterback that I guess is going to go in and be your quarterback until Daniel Jones is ready. That doesn't mean Tommy DeVito can't steal the job away from him or the kid that you draft can take the job away from him. But you're going to need somebody else in there. You can't have 2 kids running the show. And what if Daniel Jones doesn't come back until November? I mean, I would think the Giants are going to want to compete. They're going to go out and sign free agents. They're going to have a little cap room. So I don't think they're taking a knee on the season.
They could also draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
I don't think that makes a world of sense.
Mel Kiper has, by the way, Drake May number 3 on his recent big board. He put that out about 5 days ago on ESPN Plus. If you want to go take a look at that.
Quarterbacks are like the big board is every position.
The entire
right?
thing. Who do you think he has number 1?
I would still probably say Caleb Williams.
Correct. Who's number 2?
Yeah. Number 2 would be, you said number 2 would be Marvin Harrison.
That's
probably.
correct. Drake May is 3rd, as I said. Do you know who? Let's keep going, Dan. You're doing very well. Who's 4th?
One of the tackles, probably?
No. Not 4th or 5th.
Oh, interesting. Then it's got to be one of the quarterbacks, no?
It is, yes, it is one of the quarterbacks. He has a little hardware.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Yep, and then 5th
Jaden
is
Daniels
actually...
got to spend the next 5 months in the weight room, though, because he's just slight, man.
Well, 5th, who everybody forgot about, Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia.
Because he got hurt.
Who was a Heisman candidate up until he got hurt.
I'm telling you, Brock Bowers is a dude. I'm telling you, you could flex him out wide and almost play him as a wide receiver and in line. He's versatile, as the kids say.
Oh, I like that. That's a good word.
But you're right. I can't draft receivers not knowing who my quarterback is.
No, they're useless. If you don't have a quarterback, you could have Jerry Rice. It's useless.
You're wasting seasons. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But I do think that there's a fair amount of linemen and in other receivers that can actually have one of those quarterbacks drop. I don't know who the Giants want. Remember, Gettleman fell in love with Daniel Jones. Nobody had Daniel Jones in the conversation at 6 leading into that draft. We still have bowl games to play. We still have the combine, which really moves the needle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't get caught
Big
up
hands,
in what
small
quarter.
hands.
It's amazing how much, guys, it moves from the last day of the college football season to after the combine. It's like one guy's going to be number 1, and the next thing you know, they drop to 5 because he had a bad combine or didn't want to participate or had a bad bowl game or something that just changes the narrative.
Well, go look back 2020, whatever bowl game it was like this time of year, like the pre-Christmas week bowl games. Zach
Christmas.
Wilson and BYU went out there and balled out and threw for 6 touchdowns or whatever in that game, and that did a hell of a lot to make him the number 2 overall pick in the draft.
Go back to the Saquon draft with Sam Darnold, who went number 1, Baker Mayfield. Where was Mayfield at the end of the college football season? Like he
was the Heisman Trophy winner.
But he drove up to number 1 after the season. I don't think he was projected number 1 when the season came to an end.
No, Sam was.
Right. And then all of a sudden, after the combine, it was Baker Mayfield. And you know what? Neither of them deserve to be.
Well, I'll say this because I think the most interesting thing about this quarterback class is there's so many. And I know we say that a lot, but I can name probably now more than – usually it's 2 or 3. And I think everybody still believes that it's Drake May and Caleb Williams that are 1, 2. I put them in the wrong order. Caleb Williams 1, Drake May 2. But you've got Daniels as the Heisman Trophy winner, Bo Nix, Michael Penix. Like, you've got at least 3 or 4 more guys that people can, if as you guys said, if they have a good combine, if they ball out in their game, if they play it, they could have a real. They could move their stock up tremendously.
And watch, one of them is not going to pan.
2 ACLs though too.
That's
a problem.
A couple of them are not going to pan out at all, and there's probably somebody you didn't even mention that's going to end up being better than all of them. Like you don't know.
You just don't know.
Got to clean your house.
But maybe this could be similar to the '83 draft. I mean, they've got a lot of quarterbacks.
A lot of quarterbacks, and we only have 15 seconds, so we have to say goodbye to Don, say goodbye to Yes. That's going to do it for ENN today on this Wednesday. Dan sticks around for 30 minutes and does pre, half, and post with you for Nick's Nets. What do you think of that?
It's a Dan show. Coming up next. Enjoy the rest of your night. Nick's Nets coming up at 7 o'clock. Talk to you tomorrow.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, our coverage of the Nets and Knicks gets underway with the pregame show. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying, have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy, too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
Welcome to the Athletic Basketball Show.
Folks, the league is in absolute chaos.
Players going off pretty much every other night.
Playing picture that, when it clears, could leave a few future Hall of Famers.
It might all come down to some rookie taking free throws. Is on pace to break the
The Athletic. Subscribe today.
Can a handyman fix my leaky faucet?
How much does it cost to have my HVAC checked?
How do I know I have mold?
What do water pipes break?
Home questions don't have to keep you up at night. Get peace of mind with Thumbtack. We'll connect you with local pros for any home project, from a small fix to a big remodel. See transparent prices, read verified reviews, and book with just a tap. Thumbtack, the easy way to care for your home.
Jeff has a problem. It started when he ordered his Brunt work boots. He's beating them up 14 hours a day, going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. At my place, with his buddies, at night, I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof." I don't know if we're gonna make it through the 30-day risk-free trial.
Of course they will, babe. They're super durable.
I'm not talking about the boots, Jeff.
Brunt, the tools you wear. Try us on the job for 30 days risk-free.
Get ready for the British Basketball League. 10 teams, one electrifying league. Global talent, local passion. The British Basketball League.
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Here's a holiday thought to ponder. Is it truly a wish list if you only have one wish? Make your wish list a reality with exceptional offers during the season of Audi.
10 years ago, we started Untuckit out of my apartment, and today we have more than 80 stores worldwide. It's been quite a journey. We didn't just create shirts designed to be worn untucked, we perfected them. With great fabrics and design at the perfect untucked length, so you can look sharp in this new business comfortable world. Just look for our signature sale. Untuck It, 10 years in the making, and we're nowhere close to stopping. Find the perfect holiday gift at untuckit.com today.
Welcome to Win Reality. Experience unlimited at-bats from home any season, anytime. See game speed pitches from more than 600 pitchers. Get ready for game time with game simulations. Face your friends in live competitions. And train like the pros with expert drills and metrics to track your progress. So when your moment comes, you'll be ready. Win Reality. Baseball uncaged.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
When choosing between style, comfort, and performance, we chose all of the above. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
watching Yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
In my city, yeah.
Tonight, the franchises that have shared the city that never sleeps for over a decade will go head-to-head at Barclays Center.
Where you from? In my city. In my city. Can't hide, you won't be seen. Some things change, but most stay the same. In my city. New York. In my city. New York. In my city.
It's Brooklyn versus Manhattan. Nets against the Knicks. Coming your way next on Yes. Well, the Brooklyn Nets are back home as Mikal Bridges hopes to build a bridge back to better basketball coming off his tough road trip out west. Great homage to the holidays by Trendon Watford, hoping to leave the visiting Knicks with the Home Alone Kevin McAllister shocked face tonight. But Jalen Brunson and company have been playing solid basketball lately. He's coming off a 29-point game against the Lakers. As we are getting you set for NBA basketball, it is the Nets against the Knicks from Barclays Center here on Yes and the Yes app. And it is great to have you with us tonight here on the FanDuel Nets pregame show. Bob Lorenz in studio with you. Frank Isola is at Barclays Center. Frank, this is our version of Home Alone. I left you alone out there, and I'm home alone here.
I was wondering where you were. I called the police, but they said you're safe and sound up in Connecticut, so that's good. We're going to miss you tonight. There's going to be a lot of fun with both New York teams in the building for the first time this season.
I agree. I think that's sort of the great thing about this matchup. First meeting of the season. Knicks coming off a better West Coast trip than the Nets. They're kind of headed in different directions, so the Nets looking for a little redemption tonight.
Yeah, and you also look at the way the two teams ended the trip. The Knicks beat the Lakers. Good fourth quarter comeback. You look at what happened to the Brooklyn Nets on Monday in Utah, in that they fell apart in the second half of that game. They gave up 71 points. So as you know, Bob, defense has been a big part of it. I thought when the Nets went on the trip, 5 games, I figured, you know what, 2 and 3, it would be acceptable. They had a chance to do that, but they lost at Golden State where they had a lead in the fourth quarter. They lost, of course, in Utah where they were only down 5 with about 10.5 minutes to go, then got blown out. And you could tell kind of after the game, Jacques Vaughn, I think that loss really bothered him because I think he thought at the very least they would come home 2 and 3.
Yeah, and it's the way they lost those 4 games, Frank, giving up 124 or more points in those losses. Just tell me about what you saw defensively, because that's not what we saw prior to them heading out west.
You're 100% right, and I think, too, when you look at the Warriors game, the Warriors scored 70 points in the first half, and then the Nets locked in that second half and made it a game, and then Steph Curry became Steph Curry in the fourth quarter with the 12 straight points that he had. He finished with 16. In fact, it was the Splash Brothers. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry combined to score the Warriors' final 22 points. Then defensively in that second half, you want to blame it on the end of the trip, maybe guys being a little worn down. But I think defensively, and the players talked about it, Jacques Vaughn talked about it, it's unacceptable. 71 points in the second half, even if you're on the road to a team like the Utah Jazz, which has been up and down. That was an opportunity for the Brooklyn Nets to get a win. You'd come home over 500 as it stands now. 13-13, and you just showed the stat. That's an unbelievable stat. When they give up 120 or more points, they're 1-12. In the last 3 games, they gave up an average of 124 points.
Yeah, the Nets, as a team, were not happy about what happened, certainly against Utah. And Mikal Bridges was not. He had a very rough game in that one. Let's hear from Bridges about where he's at right now heading into this game.
We're not playing defense, and Clack's stepping up, and we're not helping him. So, me personally, I didn't do anything today, especially rebounding, so we just got to help them out and help each other out, and we just got to rebound together.
We just need to take more pride defensively, like just keeping dudes in front of us. It's just straight line drives. They're getting in there too easy, which is causing us to rotate too much, and it's giving them rebounds, threes. So I think it's just a pride thing, honestly.
That's been such a strength, at least in the earlier stages of the season. I mean, you have any idea, I guess, why that's changed of late over the last, 4, 5, 6?
Just effort. especially on my end. Just got to go in there and get it. No matter how tired you are, just got to go get it.
Have teams defended you specifically differently than they had been earlier in the season, or is it just look at it a make or miss league? They go in sometimes and don't go in?
Yeah, no. I just feel like I was missing shots. Just did everything bad today. Missed shots, free throws, not defending, not rebounding. Just bad one, Pretty much just out there and just let my teammates down, coaches down, playing 5-on-4 out there, basically when I'm out there. So I just got to be better, and, I won't let that happen again.
Mikal Bridges definitely wearing that loss to Utah. You see during the 5-game road trip what he and Cam Johnson were able to do, well below their season averages. Bridges coming off 4 of 16 against Utah. Cam Johnson only had 7 points. Was it the way that they were defended, or was it just one of those nights where, specifically, Frank, for Mikal Bridges, he just was not feeling it?
Yeah, I appreciate his self-analysis. I think he's 100% right. He just did not play well enough. And you look at the numbers of the last 3 games, Bob, he goes 13 of 41, and he only scores a total of 40 points. Defense is a big part of it for the Brooklyn Nets, but they need Mikal Bridges to do a lot more on offense, whether that's being a playmaker, but also scoring. You can't expect Cam Thomas every night to score between 30 and 40 points to keep you in games. 13 of 41 in those last 3 games for Mikal Bridges. And the only thing that concerned me a little bit with what he talked about after the game with the Net Beat report is when he talked about effort. Effort should never be an issue. And that's something about this team. If you look at the start of the season up to now, no one has ever questioned their effort. So that's a little disconcerting. And I think that's probably one of the reasons Jock Vaughn, who's always so optimistic, sounded a bit down after that game against the Utah Jazz. But as it relates to both Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, the Nets need more for those guys. There's a reason why they were traded for Kevin Durant and why the Nets accepted that package. Everything they got back in return. They're looking at both of those players to be important, consistent, everyday players for the Brooklyn Nets. And that's not scoring. It's playmaking, defending, and rebounding as well.
They're definitely going to have to up their intensity level tonight. We mentioned that's where the Knicks are playing at right now at a high level. We'll take a break. We got more coming up here on the FanDuel Nets pregame. We'll talk more about the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, who has been on fire over his last 11. We'll get Frank's thoughts on those two guys, so stick around.
The Nets pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
See everything your restaurant can do with tools from Square. Get a POS that connects to a KDS so you can handle orders ASAP. Reach more customers with online ordering and QR codes. Use pocket-sized hardware so you can turn tables faster. And get one account for everything so you can take care of it all and take it easy, too. Get your all-in-one restaurant system and sign up at square.com today.
All right, here we go. It's a big responsibility to be a designer. Dagny Dover is a bag brand based in New York City, founded by 3 women. We make hyper-functional, performance-driven bags. That's like a mouthful. We're all about getting the most out of life. When you're organized and you have your things together, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can live life intentionally. Oh, it's pronounced Dagny Dover. Dagny means new dawn. It's a new dawn for fashion.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping, always. Sign up today and get free chicken wings for a year. ButcherBox.
Trick plays, and if ever
local hero, national champ, now he's home and expected to save the franchise and continue to go forward with hope as the plan on the
What's up, guys? I wish this was in person so I could buy each and one of you a beer or something.
Let's play the game.
Hey guys, am I dreaming or can we actually win this thing?
The Brooklyn Nets are at home to take on their crosstown rivals, the New York Knicks, and the Nets find themselves as 1.5-point underdogs. We see tonight's over-under staying at 232. The Nets are looking to bounce back after a couple of losses and pick an important win in the East